Hello everybody. Have you all been good boys? Good, I hope so, because if you have, then you're going to get to watch this review in our WrestleMania special of WCW vs. NWO World Tour. This game was released in 1997 and was THQ's first foray into wrestling games on the N64. Let's check it out. Like Glendust just said, if you're a fan of N64 wrestling games, then this is the game that started it all. WCW vs NWO World Tour was my first N64 wrestling game and one which I still have great memories of. The awesome game engine by Aki is the one that we all know and love. As an early N64 adopter, one thing that seemed to be missing was a wrestling game. LGN had however put many gamers off wrestling games with their poorly received games on the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo with the WWF license. My brother and I, however, loved those games, and so even though we were WWF fans and hadn't seen WCW for years, we couldn't wait to get this game right away. Being the first in a series is never easy. Everyone looks at the sequels, which are more often than not superior. You can't however forget the huge impact this game had. For the first time, a wrestling game actually felt like wrestling. There were no quick button combos or Mortal Kombat style fighting that you found in some other releases. The controls were tight and responsive, so you always felt in full control over what you were doing in the game. The developers set about creating a wrestling game for wrestling fans, and along the way they created a game engine so rough around the edges and yet so perfect at the same time. It works unlike anything else before it. Wrestling games before this relied on quick button presses or button mashing in a hope to win. This game however made players learn strategy and how to chain moves together. This is not a game you master the first time you play, and that is the key to its longevity. For the first time in a wrestling game, the gameplay was built around momentum, just like in real wrestling. As you chain moves together and you punish your opponent, you build up a spirit meter. Get this to the top and you enter special mode where you can perform one of your character's special moves. If you're taking a beating however, you become a walking target and your spirit meter turns blue, meaning you'll be likely to be pinned or tap out to a submission move. This may sound like an obvious formula for a wrestling game, but at the time it was completely revolutionary. Looking back at this game now, it's easy to see that it doesn't have all the thrills modern wrestling gamers have become accustomed to. There are only 4 arenas and no flashy entrances or music that you find in later games. You want to create your own wrestler? Well, you won't be doing that in this game. What you do have here are acceptable graphics, standard quality music and average sound effects, but a whole lot of fun. This is a bare bones wrestling game and was an early sign of things to come from the game engine. Speaking of fun, if you haven't already played this in 4-player, that is where the fun is. Having 4 players in a wrestling game made this a fantastic choice for multiplayer sessions with your friends. The solo mode is also fun as you work your way through the championship, choosing to faction with either WCW or the NWO. There are a number of titles to try and win, and you can even play a 2-player tag team championship. When you win titles, you also unlock many secret wrestlers, and all your favourites such as Sting, Hulk Hogan, Lex Luger and Scott Hall, they're all here. There are also wrestlers from the independent scene and DOA, meaning there's plenty of choice of grapplers. Well, if you ask me to recommend an N64 WCW game, I would say Get Revenge. However, you can't help but enjoy this game and appreciate it for just how much it changed the genre and brought it back from the dead. So how do you remember WCW vs NWO World Tour? Let me know in the comments below, and if you've enjoyed this nostalgia chip, hit that like button. Until next time.